Hi, grade 5. I'm Miss V, and I'll be working with you for reading. Let's get started. We'll be starting a unit called A Deep Study of Character. In this unit, we'll be focusing on character traits. This is something that is familiar to you from our first reading unit, during which we read Home of the Brave. Let's take a look at the screen. What are character traits? Character traits are who a character is on the inside. And we can typically tell a character's traits by the things that they say and the things that they do. Let's take a look at an example from Home of the Brave. Keck from Home of the Brave has a cheerful and optimistic personality. Keck is cheerful and optimistic. These are character traits that describe Keck. I wonder if you can think of things that Keck did or said in Home of the Brave to make me believe that he's optimistic and cheerful. We'll talk more about this later on in the unit. Today, we'll be reflecting on our reading lives. Our goals for today is number 1, start off easy by watching a read aloud called I'm Bored by Michael Ian Black. Secondly, we'll be setting reading goals for ourselves. Thirdly, we'll be choosing a book to read, a fiction book to read. And lastly, we'll be completing an activity on Seesaw to reflect on our work for today. So, how might having healthy reading habits be good for you and your mind during virtual learning and in life in general? You should stop the video now to watch the story I'm Bored. You can click on the link here. After you watch the story, you can come back and play this video lesson again to continue the lesson. Let's move on. Let's move on to number 2, setting reading goals for reading class and our personal life. So on the screen, you can see a rubric that 5VL and 5BT have previously used to set reading habit goals. On the top, there are the levels, which correspond or connect to your grade. 3 is grade 3, and 5 is grade 5. On the first column, you have time and frequency, and then writing about our reading. Let's take a look at how you might use this rubric. So, my reading goals, if you look at the very bottom, my reading goals for reading class are to read every night for more than 20 minutes, which is level 6 for time and frequency, and to use the strategies I learned in class to write about my reading every time I read for school or for reading class, which happens to be level 5 for writing about my reading. That's my reading goal for reading class. If you look right below this goal, you'll see my personal goal for reading. That's here. My personal reading goals are to read more fiction and to read at least 20 minutes at least 6 days a week. So what's the difference between a reading goal for class and a reading goal for our personal lives? Well, one thing that 5VL and 5BT have found out is that sometimes when we're reading for our personal lives, writing about our reading is not part of our goals. However, when we're reading for school, writing about our reading is a very important part of our reading growth. So, one thing that we've done is we've chosen 2 goals. One for our reading work and the books we will be reading for class, and then another reading goal for our personal lives. As you can see, in class, we'll be reading fiction. However, maybe a personal reading goal of yours is to read nonfiction. In the activity on Seesaw, you will be writing about both your reading goal for class, which should include time and frequency and writing about your reading, and then your personal reading goal that can include whatever you want. Let's move on. Choosing a fiction book. The first thing you should do is reflect by asking yourself, what kind of fiction novels do I like to read and why? So maybe you like a specific author, like Roald Dahl. Maybe you like a specific subgenre of fiction, for example, realistic fiction or fantasy. Maybe you just like specific topics. For example, I know that I have students who really love reading fiction books about animals, and I also have students who really love reading fiction books about space. Reflect on the question, what type of fiction novels do I like to read? And this will help you start thinking about what book you might want to read. Now, you may have some books on your bookshelf at home that you're ready to read. If not, you can look at the screen. Their AISC provides different options for digital books that you've been learning with Miss Babs. The last option here for Kindle is a personal choice. You can download the Kindle app for free on your computer and then purchase books online from Amazon.com. Now here's the bonus. I forgot to write bonus in here. Choosing a fiction book you can do on your own. However, if you choose to work with a reading partner, this is a bonus. Now, why? Sharing your thoughts and questions about your reading and the characters in your book is important because it helps you grow as a reader and a deep thinker. So, sharing your thoughts about your book with somebody else is beneficial. Talking with others about the characters in your books will better help you understand the character traits of your characters. So basically, long story short, having someone to communicate with, talk with, and reflect with is really important for growing and learning. If you choose to connect with a reading partner or a different person from your class, this is a major bonus. Not only because it'll help you grow as a reader, but because it's really fun to talk with others and it'll help you stay connected during these difficult times. You can connect with your partner on Google Hangouts or any way that you know how. Something you might decide to do if you choose to work with a reading partner is decide on a time of day to meet to do reading. And this is important because if you choose to work with a reading partner, maybe you'll want to turn and talk, have book conversations, or give one another feedback. And below on the screen, there's an example conversation of what it might sound like if you are working with a reading partner. Just quickly, these are the 5 BT reading partners. Again, you can choose this reading partner or a different partner that's more available with the time that suits you in your day. After you have watched I'm Bored by Michael Ian Black, thought about your reading goals and wrote them down somewhere on a piece of paper or in your journal, look through the digital resources or your bookshelf to choose a fiction book, you will then complete the activity on Seesaw. The activity on Seesaw consists of the questions on the screen. The questions are just a reflection of what we have just covered in this lesson. What reading goals did you set for yourself? You will reflect about both your personal and your academic reading goals. What fiction book did you choose and why? Will you be collaborating with a partner for reading class? And so on. You can continue to read and answer these questions when you check out your Seesaw activity called Reflecting on My Reading Life. If you have any questions, either concerning your reading partner or anything else, please write your homeroom teacher.